Hello and welcome to Turning Point Tactics, the competitive Kill Team 40k podcast and YouTube channel, focused on giving you the strategies and tactics to seize initiative every turning point. I'm your host Ryan, and I'm here to give you the tips and tricks to elevate every part of your Kill Team experience. If you enjoy this content and you want more, you can join our Patreon for as little as £3 a month, where you'll get access to our Discord, patron priority questions, early access to videos including Kill Team bat reps, faction guides, and much more. If that's not for you, you can support just by hitting like, subscribe, and sharing these videos amongst the community of Kill Team enthusiasts local to you. Finally, if you're looking to buy some new miniatures or paints, you can buy them through Element Games, getting a 15% discount, and if you use our affiliate link below, you'll support the show as well. With all that said, let's get into it. Okay, so we're now into the C tier, this the standard tier, so your beginning of the competitive. These teams are all fine, right? So they play the game fine. You can win absolutely fine with them with a 50% win rate, all that sort of stuff. But maybe there's an element which they're missing, or they have some rough matchups, but it's all winnable, but not too bad. So we're going to start with the Corsairs, and I love my Corsairs, right? They are by far one of the most fun teams to play. Probably one of the best looking teams, I think, as well, from an aesthetic point of view, in how much like each model just like looks really good if you like that aesthetic. But, and this I've said this before, so I'm just repeating myself, it's their reliability. Everyone knows that this team has the highs and lows of a roller coaster. When you're rolling hot, you're gonna feel amazing. You're gonna do so much. But just everything about the team is just so swingy that it becomes quite painful. So that's kind of like my thoughts on them. And I think as well, a lot of their strength of the early game, being able to play aggressively, score points on things like loot, etc. That's now sort of come away from them, because now everyone can play for the late games. Even if you run ahead and you really make a big rush on turns 1 and 2 in an attempt to win the game early, there's a chance you're going to get tabled and you're going to lose the game on turns 3 and turn 4 effectively. So, that's kind of my thoughts on Corsairs. And that also runs basically into Hand of the Archon, where I feel they have a bit more reliability, you know, that they have methods of getting it, but they're very much like a momentum team. So it feels to me like if you're doing well with a team, it rewards you, right? You get more power from pain, you get more of these rerolls, all that sort of stuff, etc., and suddenly you can really run away with the game. But if you don't get the momentum going, it hurts. Like, it really hurts. So, for instance, the other day, I played a game where effectively I was running my BTs versus these guys, and I managed to score a kill at the end of Turning Point 1, and then win initiative and score another 2 kills. And that just, like, it just guts the team, because they're immediately so far behind, and they're trying to kill models that have already activated. And, you know, you then just start this trading war, and you don't win, right? Because you kill someone, you get your token, and then effectively someone just kills you and you lose it. And that's what they find so tough. So I think they're fine, and a good player can definitely do well with them. Like, don't take that, don't get me wrong on this, but at the same time, it's that reliability. It's can you get the early kills to get the momentum that you need to get you into the right place. And then let's move on to the next team that I think suffers with reliability, and that's going to be Phobos, right? So Phobos are a great team because of their tricks, right? So massive toolbox, loads that they can do, but there's just an element of how many 1s and 2s are you going to roll, right? Like, and it's going to be a lot, and they just don't have ways to really like make up for that. So you can do like Bolt of Discipline to be able to shoot twice, to try and get the volume through if you need to, but you're spending CP for that. And then you also, if you're playing against elite teams, you probably want that P1, so you're spending CP for that. Maybe you're running Reavers and you want to fight twice, you're spending CP for that. You want to be able to do your free mission actions, you want to be able to get your extra moves, so you're spending CP for that. And suddenly, like, you have a very explosive 2 turns with all your ploys, you know, working, and then suddenly you're out of CP and it falls apart. So if you haven't got done what you need to get done on Turning Point 2 and Turning Point 3, then you're done, right? Like, you're out of the game, because like another elite team will just body you. And that's kind of where I feel they're at. And they have some pretty rough matchups in the meta, in the sense that with the melee teams are very, very efficient. They can just directly contest them on those objectives. And also with Inquisition, with the amount of AP that they can bring, that's also really rough as well. So they're a good team, and again, Hans is a good player. You can go far with them, but I just feel like if you're in a 6-round tournament, there's going to be like a game where your dice just don't work, and there's nothing really that you can do to solve that. So yeah. On the flip side, let's roll into Novitiates. This is a team where the dice will work for you pretty much most of the time, because you have so many ways of getting reliability and dice manipulation, all that sort of stuff. The downside is their matchups currently. So they are a great team against a lot of the meta. However, I think versus Exaction Squad with their shotguns, Inquisition with Exaction Squad attached, against Beastmen and against Chaos Cults, they just really struggle into those matchups. So I think that's going to be a lot of the team. Like a lot of the people they play are going to be those key teams when you get to those like round 2, 3, and 4 in a tournament, whatever. And having just 10 models like hurts them as a result. So they're on the knife's edge, right? Because if you buff them in any way, I can see them skyrocketing straight away. And I feel like they are so close to being too strong and so close to being bad. Like, for instance, if you give them an extra operative, I think that massively buffs them, and it's wild how much of a difference that would make to them. So I'm not really too sure if they're exactly like if they're perfect where they are right now, and maybe they are. Maybe just like that's the point, is they are good into most of the field, but they have some bad matchups, and maybe that's the perfect place for them to be. Because if you tone down those bad matchups, then effectively the rest of them all come in. Next, then it's going to be the Kasrkin. So the Kasrkin, again, I actually quite like them. I think they're a really fun team. They've got a lot of tricks, but one of the weird things about them is all their ploys have so many caveats. I actually think that like they could just remove all of their like caveats to their ploys, and this would be like an A-tier team, right? So like reposition, if you just got rid of there being enemies within 3 inches as a caveat, just get rid of that. The clearance sweep, if you just get rid of the fact that you have to have your own model within 2 as well, or 4 without as well, whatever, just get rid of that. These sorts of things, right? Like the relentless requiring your opponent to be on not ready and engage and not in cover, like so many different weird little caveats you have to like string together to be able to get this ploy to work. And it's like Vetguard just laugh because they get it effectively so much easier. Like that's my kind of point, right? It's like, can you just remove those silly caveats from this team and then just let them have their ploys and let them be meaningful? Because a lot of players just save their CP for CP rerolls, which is a bit of a shame really with this team, because they're a really like good looking team and they're a really fun team to play. And I've got some amazing looking Kasrkin models. Thanks again to @Joshua for painting up in a way that just looks so good. So yeah, they're a fun team. I feel like with those 4-ups, I've done it so many times where I've just rolled absolutely terribly and the relentless ploy doesn't work because against a mid-range or a horde team, you just don't have that punch. But against elites, they're fantastic. If anything, they're too strong versus elites. So that's kind of my point, is like, can you just tweak it so they're good against the mid-range and the hordes as well? Okay, into our BTs. Now, this is one where I'm struggling to place them because I really need to play more of the elite matchups. And I've played them into mid-range, I've played them into horde, and I've played them as part of Inquisition. And I feel like they've got everything they need, which is going to sound weird, but like they have a lot of abilities now to potentially deal with most of the meta. And they're really good into your mid-range, they're really good into your hordes. And shotguns can do a lot of clearance work going through. The Seductors are pretty durable, and I was playing again the other day, and I was thinking, actually, just tar pitting objectives and doorways and stuff with a Subductor now that they're 8 wounds makes it really hard for anything less than a dedicated melee operative to deal with, and even then they get to fight first. So if you roll slightly hot on your Subductor rolls, then suddenly they're not getting through, and it's a wasted activation. So Yeah, they're a good team. I'm wondering if they're actually B tier or actually A tier. I've put them at the top of C for now because I feel like there's still some matchups where they will struggle, particularly like Legionary. I think could be a really tough matchup for them. I think Necrons as well could be pretty hard. So those sorts of teams I think would be pretty good into these dudes, and obviously not excluding the guys at the top of the meta as well. But so at the end of the day, I really like them. I'm going to watch this team a little bit more cautiously. I'm going to try and play some more matchups into the elite teams and see how much that P1 actually gets out there and does stuff. And if it's pretty meaningful and pretty impactful, then against those teams, maybe it's going to work well from there going forward. So we'll have to wait and see. So lots of interest in this team at the moment. That brings us to the end of the episode. Hopefully you found something new or useful while listening, and if you did, throwing us a like would be greatly appreciated. If you want to make sure you don't miss any episodes, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the bell so you get notifications as soon as the next one drops. It really is the best way to help a small channel like ours. And if you can't wait and you do want early access, we have a Patreon where you get exclusive access to all our content ahead of time. As always, we'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback, so drop a comment below and we'll get right to you. Thank you so much for listening. I'm your host Ryan, this has been Turning Point Tactics, and we'll see you next week.